Hi, and welcome to my November wrap-up. I actually read a crazy amount of books this month. I don't know why, or maybe this is how much I normally read. I've never kept track of it until the last couple months, so I don't know, but I've been watching a couple other wrap-up videos, and everyone feels like they haven't done well. So for me, it was definitely a good reading month. I read 15 books and 3 novellas. So I'm just going to get started with the ones I don't have copies of because they were library books. So the first one was Dare You To by Katie McGarry, which is the second book in the Pushing the Limits series. And I did give it 5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I liked Pushing the Limits, but at the same time, I didn't think it merited anything less than 5 stars. I think the Pushing the Limits story was just more my speed than the Dare You To story. But it was still a really well written novel, and I'm definitely excited to read the third and final book, which came out this month, but I have not gotten it yet. I actually asked for it for Christmas, so hopefully I'll get it and read it then. And that is Crash Into You. Next, I basically just read the Iron Fae series, which is it a series? I would call it a quartet. I don't know if that's because I read a lot of Madeleine L'Engle books growing up, and so I know actually I think it's a quintet now, but it was a quartet, I feel like, when I was younger. I don't know. So I read The Iron King, and then I read Winter's Passage, which is the novella that comes next. Because I read everything in order, so my library had the bind up of the 3 novellas, so it goes Iron King, Winter's Passage, Iron Daughter, Iron Queen, Summer Crossing, Iron Knight, and Iron's Prophecy. And Iron's Prophecy, Summer Crossing, and Winter's Passage are the novellas. I don't know if that's complicated or not. I actually enjoyed the series a lot. I was glad I got to read it all at one time. And I do plan on reading the, I guess, companion series? I don't know. Oh, sorry. That is, about the main character's brother or whatever. I did film a review of the whole series, so if I ever get around to editing that, I will post it for you guys. But I'll just go through my star ratings for each of them. So for Iron King, which is the first one, I gave 4 stars. The first novella, which was Winter's Passage, I gave 3.5. The Iron Daughter, I gave 3 stars. I kind of felt that book was unnecessary. It could have been a trilogy without any problems. Actually, I heard it was supposed to be a trilogy, and it was just supposed to be Iron King, Iron Daughter, and Iron Queen, but Julie Kagawa had one idea to end it, and that's how it ended in the 3rd book, but her publisher or something preferred a different type of ending, so they wrote a 4th book, which I was happy about. I prefer the way it ended. Iron Queen I really enjoyed, and I gave 4.5 stars. Summer Crossing, the second novella, I gave 3.5. I think novellas usually are weak. Iron Knight, I gave 4.5. I really liked Iron Queen and Iron Knight. I thought they were both really good books. And it's when the characters really came into their own and became, individuals. And then Iron Prophecy, the last novella, I gave 4 stars. That one was pretty strong in my opinion. The last book that I do not currently have in my possession is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. And I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't oh my god, I absolutely have to read the rest of this series. In fact, I almost feel I'm sure the series is good, I've heard good things about it, but I almost feel like I would have been happy with it ending there. I'm not, yeah, there's more questions that you need answered, but at the same time, I feel enough closure that I don't necessarily need those other books. I'll read them eventually, but not right away. But like I said, I did enjoy it, and I like that, even though I'm a romance person, I love reading romance, I read romance novels, so of course I do. I kind of like that wasn't the main focus of the book, because it kind of would have felt forced, and not real. So I'm sure that becomes more of the story as it goes on, but in this one it would have been a little much. And I'm not sure I've read a lot of science fiction, like true science fiction. I've read a lot of fantasy, but not a lot of science fiction. And I think I might check out more. I mean, I watch a lot of science fiction movies and TV shows, so I don't know why the book world would be weird to me. I've just never really read it. I'm trying to think if I don't think I have. I think I read one book. It was like in school forever ago. But I think that's it. Well, would you call like A Wrinkle in Time stuff science? I would call that fantasy more than science fiction. It kind of blurs the line. I don't know. Next are books that I do in fact have. Let's see. So the next book I read was The Other Countess by Eve Edwards. And I had just got this on Book Outlet for like $1.99 or something like that. It's basically a romance novel for like young adults. Like it's the same format, I guess I would say. And I think there's no other way to describe this. Like if you've read a historical romance novel for adults, then I think you understand what I'm saying about this. I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. I think I posted a review on Goodreads about this, but I'm not sure how coherent it is. I enjoyed like the story, I guess, but I felt the couple was a little weak, and that really brings the story down. That being said, I really enjoyed the side characters, and this is one in a series of books, and one of the characters that you meet in here, like what's her name? The main character in this one is Ellie. Basically like her only friend. Her name is Jane. I found her really interesting and entertaining, and the next book is about her. So I will probably get my hands on that at some point and read that. Hopefully that's not disappointing because I liked her in here. Next, I was trying to save this book for like another time, like maybe this summer, but I was really in the mood for young adult contemporary. So, oh, I missed another book that well, whatever, who cares. Don't get distracted. Calm down. But I was really in the mood for young adult contemporary, so I picked it up anyways, and that is Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. And what did I mark from here? Oh. She talks about Where the Wild Things Are. Of course, that attracted me because I love that book, and the movie. I give this 4.5 stars. I did not like it as much as Anna and the French Kiss, although I think that's because I better relate to Anna and her story than I relate to Lola and her story. So it created like a personal connection more. However, I think this was an amazingly well written book. I really enjoy the characters and all of the characters. Like, I like Lola, I like Cricket. I kind of want a book about Calliope, like just to know more about her. Like, I feel like initially she comes across as kind of like a bitch. I don't want to say that, but that's how she comes across. But I don't think she is. I think she's very isolated, and this can happen with twins sometimes, I think. And so to see her more, even if it's not a romance, I would like to know more about her. I don't think that Stephanie Perkins has any like plans or intentions to write a book like that, but I would read it. And I kind of wish I could be more like Lola. For sure. I think I love that she's individual and she's crazy, but she's herself at the same time. Like, I think some people think she's hiding behind it, but it's actually who she is. But it was definitely a good book. Like I said, 4.5 stars. Next, I read Perfect Chemistry by Simone Elkeles, and I had heard a lot of things about this series. I think, because when did this come out? Yeah, when I was first getting involved in BookTube when I was in college, like watching videos and stuff, I posted a few things, but people talked about this all the time. I think at the time only Perfect Chemistry was out, maybe Rules of Attraction as well, but it just didn't seem like my type of book. At the time I also wasn't reading a lot of just young adult like contemporary books. I was reading fantasy and stuff, but that's it. I loved this book. 5 out of 5 stars. I've actually like sort of read it twice. Like I skimmed through it the second time just because I really enjoy these characters. I basically read the rest of the series and was so excited to see them again in the books. Like the relationship between Brittany and Alex is so well developed. I think this and Pushing the Limits and Katie McGarry, and Stephanie Perkins books are like what true young adult contemporary should be. And this is a world I don't know that much about, so like all 3 of these books, like I don't know that much about like gang culture or anything like that. I did live in like sort of an area like that, but I was never involved. I was very young at the time, so I never had to become aware of it, thankfully. But it's so sad, and I know that the author did a lot of research and stuff, so it's awesome. Next, I did read Rules of Attraction, which was the second book in the series. This is about Carlos, and this one I give 4 out of 5 stars. I did still enjoy this one, but I did not like it as much as Perfect Chemistry. I thought it had some weaknesses and everything. Like I said, I loved seeing the characters from Perfect Chemistry show up in this book as well, and even if it was heartbreaking at times to see them, but it was a fun and exciting story. And then I did read Chain Reaction, but I don't have a copy of that, which is the last book. And that one I give 3.5 stars. I actually didn't like that one really that much at all. I thought the storyline felt a little contrived and almost like she had to put a book together for the last character. And it could have been a better story, but I don't think it was. I don't know, like when I was reading it, I cared more about seeing Carlos and Alex again, and like their girlfriends, and seeing even their mom. I cared more about her than I really did about is it Luis? I'm assuming it's Luis or Louis, but I'm assuming it's Luis. And I can't even remember the girl's name. Nikki? I think her name was Nikki. I didn't really care that much about them. Sorry. The next thing I did was I read the first 2 Vampire Academy books. So I read Vampire Academy and Frostbite by Richelle Mead. And I know a lot of people think that they're not particularly strong and it gets better, which is good because I actually enjoyed both of these books. I gave them both 4 out of 5 stars. So if the series gets better after that, then I'm really gonna like the rest of the series. I'm a little turned off by the age difference between Dimitri and Rose. I just try to push it out of my mind when I read it. I don't know. I think he says at one point in Frostbite something about if this was 10 years in the future, their age difference wouldn't matter, but right now it does, and I completely agree that I have this conversation with my coworkers all the time about age differences, that it depends on where you are in your life. So, but I did enjoy the books. I think Rose is hilarious and awesome, and I know in the trailer for the movie recently came out, and it was before Catching Fire when I saw it, and one, you can definitely tell the movie was done by, I might as well talk about this now, by the people that did Mean Girls, at least from the trailer, and I think the movie's gonna have like some overdramatic sappy things. I call it the CW like effect, like it's what you would expect to see on a CW show, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you like. I don't watch those types of shows on the CW. Well, I say that. I'm sure the shows I watch on the CW have those too. Yeah, they do. Let's not pretend. But it definitely, at least in the trailer, captured the essence that I get from Rose in here. So, yeah, so that's it. And then I could not contain myself, and I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought Wild Cards by Simone Elkeles. Like I said, I wanted to read young adult contemporaries so bad, and I loved Perfect Chemistry, so I was like, oh, this will be great. And it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't quite want to give it 3.5, so I rounded it up to 4. I'm putting a review up about this on Goodreads as well. There was just something about, like, if the book was about 50 pages longer, I think it would have been like a 5-star book. It just needed a little bit more development. That being said, it was an enjoyable book. I don't regret buying it. I'm excited to continue to read the series, although I will probably either borrow those from the library or get them, like, try and find them online, like, as a bargain instead of paying full price. And I don't really know who the other books are going to be about. I have some suspicions, but I'm not 100% sure, which I think is a good thing that I don't know. We shall see. And sort of the last book I read was Sum of All Kisses by Julia Quinn, because not a wrap-up unless I talk about a romance novel. This is a historical romance novel, and I really like Julia Quinn. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. She tends to write kind of lighter books instead of like heavy, dark. Even when she has super emotional things, like this one has a pretty emotional or dark edge to it. It still doesn't feel like it, and not in a bad way. Like she's not giving it the proper weight or levity that it or that's not the right word. Levity is the opposite word. Or like proper seriousness, basically. She just does a well job, like a, oh my god, I can't talk, I should stop. She does a good job of tying that together with the humor and everything. That being said, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It is not my favorite Julia Quinn novel. I'm posting a review about this as well. It's the same thing, the romance just felt a little rushed and forced, although I'm not sure longer would have done this book any better. I think she could have cut out some parts maybe at the beginning and that would have helped. I don't know. Oh, and then this was my TBR jar book of the month, and that was The Guardian by Nicholas Sparks. And I just thought I would talk about this in this video, even though I'm sure this video is like crazy long. Because I have no idea if I will ever read this book. I tried. I really did. I'm over 100 pages in, but it's just not, it's kind of seems like it's going to be a mystery. I read the end, but basically what I thought happened. I'm not a big fan of mysteries. For some reason, every time I pick this book up and start reading it, I just like, my brain shuts down and is not receptive to the story at all. And my understanding is that this is very different from his other work, so I'm not that surprised. Sorry. I do plan on leaving my bookmark in it and trying to continue reading it. If I ever do, I will let you guys know, but as of right now, I am not a fan of this book. But I thought I would talk about it. So those are the books that I read and tried to read in November. Stay tuned for my December TBR. Thanks. Bye.